want to talk about deadline day before we finish. Adam Armstrong leaving for West Brom. That was a bit of a shock, Alfie, or could you see that happening? There were a few clubs earlier in the evening, weren't there? I think Middlesbrough and was Sunderland kind of sort of sniffing around. And
He was never going to Sunderland, surely.
West Brom getting it over the line.
No, couldn't go to Sunderland. There's no way. Well, I mean, to be fair, the Telegraph reported in the morning, didn't they, that he was more likely to leave than Cameron Archer. So I think you're always on sort of alert a little bit. But I got a phone call actually about 10 to 11 that night to say that, we put the sheets in. And then I got another phone call about 15 minutes later to say, hang on, they might not have gone in on time. Hold fire. I think for him, in isolation, as I said earlier in the podcast, I think it's a good move. I mean, he's already hit the ground running. He's already scored a goal, just like we knew he would. He wasn't going to play this season. If you look at that front three, I know that they didn't play a striker on the weekend, but you've got sort of Camaldine on the left, Albert Grumbach on the left, Tyler on the right, Matty Fernandez on the right, Paul Onuachu, Cameron Archer up front. So there's sort of two in every position, and he probably wasn't going to get many minutes. And he's obviously come and asked Steve Van if he could go and take the opportunity, work with the manager Tony Mowbray, who he did really well with at Coventry and Blackburn. So for him, it's a good fit, and he's obviously won his first game. The question mark for me is, does he come back in next season? The obvious thing to say is it's really good minutes for him. He'll score a lot of goals. He'll be fit and firing for next year. But I think Ryan Fraser said in an interview with us a couple of months ago now, usually at this age, if you go out on loan, you don't come back. Now, they've bucked that trend because Jack Stevens and Jan Bednarek both did have, and they've come on to be key players in certain points of the seasons they've been here. But it does feel like it could be a launching point off for him, maybe, depending on if they want to cash in on him in the summer. So we'll have to see what happens. But he's somebody who knows going to score loads of goals in the Championship. So I hope he comes back, whoever the manager is. I think why would you not want a player like him in the Championship? So yeah, we'll see how he gets on.
That's a really good point there, Glenn, isn't it? Does it depend on who the manager is? Because I mean, they've said they want that Juric to stick around. I don't think any of us have seen anything to convince us that he's going to be the person to lead us back. But I guess it depends on the manager and the system, and he'll still be contracted to us in the summer.
Yeah, I mean, I know it also depends on factors like your family, because I know he's got young kids. I think they live in Winchester, and it's a very nice part of the world to live. So, I mean, we all think footballers are inhuman sometimes, and they just do whatever's best for them personally. But I'm sure his wife's going to have a say in where he lives next year, and Black Country or Winchester. Weigh that one up. So I think it will depend on lots of things. Whoever's in charge. And obviously he will score goals. He's as close to a guarantee of goals as you can get at Championship level. But another factor might be he might be thinking, well, if I go back to Southampton and we get promoted again, they're going to bin me off because I've had 3 seasons in the Premier League with them and it hasn't worked. So he may want to go with a manager who might give him another chance in the Premier League. Because I mean, let's be honest, if he plays for us, I mean, as a fan, I'm thinking, well, you can't have him as a starting player in the Premier League. I thought that when we went up this year, and we are where we are. So it's a big decision for him because he's at that age. What's he, 27 now? Yeah, he's at that age where he'll want to make this possibly his final sort of move if he does move. I don't know how much longer he's got left on the contract with us, but
he signed a new 3-year deal in the summer, didn't he? So a long time.
Yeah, I think all options are open, and it will also come down to how much someone offers us. I mean, if someone offers us, I don't know, 20 million quid, then we might say, oh yeah, well we'd rather have the money.
West Brom ain't going to be finding 20 million quid for a single.
No, of course they're not. But someone else might. If there's a team in the Championship.
New owners. West Brom. I think they just got new ownership, and I think that's why they went on a bit of a splurge in January. Not to say they have 20 million down the sofa, but they've got new ownership with big ideas. So
if Leeds don't go up, for example, I mean you would think Leeds will go up, but if they don't go up, that's the sort of player that they'll be looking for. There might be a team down in the Championship next year who's got a lot of money to spend on a striker.
But then, I mean, Glenn, think about that. I mean, you're going for promotion in the Championship next season, which Saints will hopefully be. And your direct rival has got 15, 16 goals from Adam Armstrong, and they're 2 points ahead of you by the end of the season. You think that's a big error. That's a costly error. So I can't see how you could sanction a move to a rival next season for a player you know is going to bag goals in that league. So I really hope they do a sensible decision and they don't do that.
We've got Ross Stewart kicking around again, haven't we? What was your thoughts on the window, Steve, just before we finish? I know there was a deal for the centre-back that kind of fell through quite late in the evening. It just seemed a bit to me.
Yeah, I mean, it was fairly dull and uninspiring, wasn't it? As I think we probably expected it to be. I mean, as I think Juric himself rightly said after the Ipswich game, it's very difficult to persuade players to come and play for you when you're bottom of the league and you're 10 points from safety. With at that time 1 win all season. So yeah, I'm not hugely surprised the way it panned out. I think making sure that we kept all the players we wanted to keep was the principal aim. And I mean, by all accounts, I don't think there was any concrete interest in anybody that we'd have wanted to keep.
Apart from
as far as I'm aware. Well, yeah. Bednarek to Roma, wasn't it?
Yeah, big offer apparently, according to Ivan Juric.
So yeah, I mean that's one to probably revisit in the summer, isn't it? You would expect he'll probably be not sticking around for the championship.
Look, I mean, words are easy, aren't they? They're cheap, but I mean, he said when he signed his new contract in September last year, a long-term contract, that it's a family decision for him to stay here. And again, you mentioned Winchester, and you just have to hope again with Bednarek that still rings true for him. And if he's happy to reject Roma in January, I hope that doesn't change in the summer. He'll be again important next season. But yeah, he said he likes it here and he's happy here, so fingers crossed.
Well, Adam Lallana had similar sentiments about 11, 12 years ago. So let's stick a pin in that one for now, I think.
I suppose the other news this week as well, Alf, is the group technical director finally was confirmed. I mean, we seem to have been talking about this for weeks. It was all to do with work permits in the end.
Yeah, he starts on February the 15th, and as Glen said, he was in the stadium yesterday. Sat with Mark Bitcon and then sat with Rasmus Ankerson as well. Obviously, he will be working alongside Mark Bitcon. He will remain for now director of football operations. He's the Johannes Spoors, the group technical director, and he'll serve under and report into Phil Parsons, the CEO. So the structure there is clear. And I think reading sort of between the lines of what they released as a club, he's clearly focused on recruitment. It's about recruitment, sort of a little bit about pathways between the three clubs. But he's based at Staplewood. He is he's somebody who they want to work on Southampton principally, and he'll be in charge of the recruitment and sort of major football decisions in the summer. So what they have got, let's see how he gets on. He's got a lot of experience in recruitment in Europe, and they've got somebody now who's accountable for what sort of happens on the pitch and for who really is in charge of the direction and sort of makes things clearer. So rather than maybe having everyone sort of chip in with their what they're doing on negotiations and stuff like that, you have somebody who is responsible for that, and that can only be a good thing based on this season.
Finally, he's going to have his work cut out, isn't he?